Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Geographically? Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that thing. They're going to want to see that thing, Alan. That face. You good?
Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest guest episode where Alan and I sat down with Mr. Jeff Fenster, the CEO of Everbowl. Today, we are going to do the first of many of our new episodes, the 5-minute clinic.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to do it on Y Power. For those of you who may have missed the intro to what the 5-minute clinic is, Alan and I are going to take a lesson that has really, really helped us, shaped us, changed us, and is something that we fundamentally live with today and leverage, something that we use to get better.
Right.
And Y Power is one of the most important ones.
Folks, one idea can change your life. These are going to be the simple ideas that make the biggest difference. Real quick, though, go to the hyperconsciouspodcast.com. Click on join #HyperconsciousNation. Speaking of good ideas that make small shifts that make a big difference, that's what that mailing list is for. It's going to keep you on track towards your dreams. We have 5 minutes. Let's rock and roll.
We're already a minute and a half in.
Let's go.
Okay, so Y Power. I told Alan today as I walked into the studio, Alan, my alarm went off at 4:30 a.m. this morning, and instead of hitting snooze, I literally said to myself, Kevin, 15 minutes, that's enough time to listen to a Blinkist. For those who don't know, Blinkist is an app that breaks down a book into like a 15 or a 20-minute digestible outline. So why am I doing that? Why do I want to learn? I hate learning. I hated learning. I don't hate it anymore. I never liked learning. Why? Because I never had it linked up to my future. I never had it linked up to a vehicle that got me there. That's what this podcast is. So in order for me to continue coaching people, to continue interviewing some of the most successful people on the planet, to do speeches, to do these one-on-one talks with you and I have to get better.
Right.
My Y Power is to have the most successful podcast of all time, not just for a life of freedom for Alan and myself, but for a life of freedom for anybody who is willing to work for it.
Absolute fire, Kevin. Proud of you.
2.5 minutes.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to give you a quick story in 2.5 minutes, less than that, 2 minutes, that I read in The Compound Effect. So Darren Hardy, shout out to you for teaching me so much of what I know today. If you and I took a 20-foot plank and put it on 2 2-foot cinder blocks, and I asked you to walk across it for $20, you'd say, hell yeah, let's do it, free $20. If I took that same 20-foot plank and put it on the top of 2 100-story buildings, all of a sudden, that $20 does not seem so great. That's your Y Power. The reason is not big enough anymore. But switch it up here. One of the people that you love most in this world, okay, think of that. It can be a pet or it can be a person. They're on the other building, and the building is on fire. And the only way you save them is to walk across that plank. You would do it in a heartbeat without even thinking. That, my friends, is Y Power. The reason isn't big enough. If the reason isn't big enough, your excuse will be.
Guys, I always used to say I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person who's into personal development. I don't listen to books. I don't read books. I don't study. The only reason that shifted is because I have a different Y Power. If my only Y Power was to make money, I would have stayed doing what I was doing because I was making money.
Right.
And that's no longer my Y Power. So if you find something so much greater than yourself that it makes you grow, it makes you stretch, it makes you evolve, it makes you do and become things that you never thought were possible, then you have a why power that will take you to the top of the mountain. It'll take you to the depths of the sea. It'll take you to wherever you want to be.
Reverse engineer your why power. Create a reason big enough to get to where you want to be, and more importantly, who you're going to become. And that is why power, folks.
My goodness, 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, we have 30 more seconds?
Yeah.
Dramatic reading time?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. Up next, we are going to do a Small Talks episode on the word priority. Many people think that they can multitask, but most people can't. Priority actually represents a singular thing, one priority.
Right. At any given time, you can only ever have one priority. The example I use is for me with fitness. There's strength, there's mobility, there's aesthetics. You have to have one thing that matters most in order to make sure your decisions are in accordance with what is most important. Folks, don't miss that episode.
Also, if getting better is a priority, head over to hyperconsciouspodcast.com. Check out our vault of courses, and for $9.99 a month, you will learn as much as humanly possible and become hyperconscious. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you on Wednesday.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for listening to another episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast.
Going hyperconscious will absolutely change your life, because if you understand why something is the way it is, now you have the power to change it. If you going hyperconscious with us has changed your life in any way, please share this episode with one of your friends, because the more people that go hyperconscious, the better this world's going to be for everybody.
And if you would kindly leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, that would help us make more people hyperconscious, and we would be greatly appreciative.
Thank you.
Bye.